Okay, so I just finished up this little bird and blooms journal, Take a Breath. You may have seen that video. If not, go check it out. I'll try to link it below. And in that, I used this little piece of napkin and music paper to make some pockets in the front and back. And then I glued what was left over down to this piece of cardstock. So I said I was going to collage around the edge. So I thought I would go ahead and do that while I've still got my scraps out and just show you the process that I would do for that. So I'm going to start with this one that's already got a torn edge, and I'm going to tear it some more. I'm going to leave that dark edge because it's, I like the darkness on it. And I've got my glue book set off to the side here, so I'm not going to show you my gluing, but I glue these pieces down. I'm either going to go right to the edge if I've got a crisp line like that. I don't want to cover up so much of that floral. Or if I don't have a crisp line, I will go over the edge and trim it off later. I'll do that to start with. And then, I just have a bunch of scraps from this journal. This one has some doily pattern on it. And if I use that sort of here, I could leave the hole. Don't really want the hole exposing what's underneath, but use this in a corner, like that, maybe. I'm just going to tear that off. See what I mean? I'll just hang that over the edge and then I'll just trim it off after. That doesn't quite reach, but I don't think I care if that's showing. I could use the lighter side. That would work better. Trying to get to where, excuse me, where I can use this. I guess I can do this. I didn't want this edge covered. So I'm keeping my center thing pretty much uncovered and just going around the edge. I'm going to space the pink out because I don't have very much of it. I'm just going to rip it up into some small pieces that I can then scatter around so that I don't get pink all in one spot and then not have enough to finish. And these little bits might be handy. I'm going to continue along here. Just cut that down a bit. So this has got an outside corner on it, so maybe I'll try to place that in an outside corner. I got glue on both sides of that. It'll go here. It's got glue on the front too, so it's not letting me move it. There we go. See that glue? I don't know how I did that. Glue on both sides. And then I'm just going to use a tiny little piece of this pink to cover that little white spot that's showing. And some of that might get, I'm going to maybe re-expose those holes, so that might get cut out. That's okay. That's the start. Go all the way along this edge, and this has a bit of a tab on it. I may or may not leave that. Probably what I'll end up doing is squaring it up when I finish. After it's dried, I'll square it up and make a tag or a journaling card. So there's a nice piece that covers there nicely. I think what's happened is the book that I'm gluing in is getting gluey. Time to turn the page. I'm just using an old magazine to glue on top of. I'm just trying to have different colors of this coffee dyed paper all around the edges, and as well as some of the pink paper. I could also add more music, but I don't think I'm going to. Maybe I will. I have it right here. A couple pieces that I set aside. Just don't want them to have straight edges, so I'm going to do some little bit of tearing. And then these little pieces I tear off will go in my bucket that I will be using to make, bucket of paper scraps that I'll be using to make paper later this summer. Hopefully that'll be a day that Kimberly comes and crafts with me, Kimberly and Samuel, and we will make our own paper out of paper scraps. I just want to leave as much of that flower showing as possible without seeing the background. So again, that can be cut off after. And then that could use some dark coffee dye beside it. And that's got a very light edge, but I'm going to let it be. I might sometimes would want to ink that, but I think I'll leave the background uninked. And then if I add another focal point over here or something, I'll ink that to be the actual focal point to stand out. So I have music paper there. I think I'm going to add some down at the end and some more along the side over here. So I've finished this piece up. Spring Song, that would be good over here. So this could be part of my focal point. Take that song without words out of it. And I'm going to leave the number 56 there too. That's probably the page number that it was on. So I'm going to make sure that's inside of where I'll be trimming. I think I'll do that. I could even do that as a tab. I should make that a tab. So if this was in it's unusual to have a journaling card that's landscape. I'm always doing them portrait. I'm just going to glue that down. Get on with my life. I'll do it right here. I'm just lining it up with this edge instead of this edge because I think I'm going to be cutting that edge off. And then I need something lighter maybe here to balance that. that there. And then I want something else. I want to see this edge. I don't like them so square, but I want this to be a darker piece. So maybe this one. And I'll use, I want to keep this. Maybe I'll use this over here where I can be sure I'm going to be keeping it. I'm going to be trimming that black part off. Oh, it don't matter. It's all good. Go right to the corner with this. And then I'll put that little light piece on that I was wanting there. In fact, I think I'm going to put it this way now that I see that it's going to cover everything. Like that. Not quite as light on the other side, but I think I like the pattern of it better. I just love collaging. It's so fun. Okay, then we've got some just music, no words. And that has a little bit more of that. Maybe I'll save that for the beginning of another tag or something. And cut into this other piece that doesn't have the napkin. I've got my music going all different directions here, which I think is okay. So I'm going to put this here. And I want some coffee dyed in between there. And I could use this piece there. I'm finding this paper is, generally speaking, ripping too square for my liking. I like to have a little bit of a jagged edge, not just a torn edge. But sometimes it just doesn't want to do that. And then just this corner left to do. Doesn't take long to get around there. I'm just gonna do that and that. And just tear that a little bit better. That's more like it. Ooh, like that side better, but the light side is good. I've got lightness over here, so I need more over in this corner. There. So there's my little collage base. I didn't do this little black piece because I think I'm going to cut that off. But that's the start of something pretty. It could even be a journal cover. I could do a journal that the cover flips up like this, and it's a horizontal pad of paper. That might work. Anyway, I'll put that to dry underneath my countertop samples. And what else have I got? Let's see, finish up using these scraps. I'll do that little tag. I'll do this tag from my archival ink. That was also in the last video. I bought these new archival inks. Tim Holtz. Are they Tim Holtz? Ranger. Tim Holtz Distressed Archival Inks. And I said I was going to collage on this. So let's do it. Let's start with this piece we said we were going to use. And I'm just going to tear it. And that can go at the bottom, and this should be torn. It might be overlapped with something, but I'm still going to tear it anyway. This might be too big to go in that book that I did, but so first piece is down. Some little pieces I can also, oh, you know what I didn't do is I didn't put any more pink around this. I better do some pink on this. That's the beauty of the collage too, is if you've forgotten to include an element that you wanted to include. See, I've got pink down there, so I don't want that to be the only place that I have pink. On at least 3 places. And then that actually will coordinate with that book very well, but yeah, that's a little better. Back to this. This could maybe go, it's a little bit long, but I could also cut it down, but it could stick in here if it wasn't so tall. So maybe that's what I'll do, is just either cut this off or cut the bottom off. I'll decide that when it's done. Okay, music paper, napkin, some pink. And then some coffee dyed. My page. Maybe I'll put some music going the other direction here. Overlap and intersect. Nope, don't like that. Put some of this darker stuff. I like this really shaded, graduated color on these darker pages. Put that along the edge maybe, and then I can put something else right there. Kind of tore a little bit more jagged than I would want. What else could go there? Book page. I don't have a book page in this mix yet. I've got some book page that's already pre-cut into little bits, just done with the tear ruler. And I'll just cut a smallish piece and do that. Make sure it doesn't say anything too weird. And I'll put more of this up top. Or off to the side this way. I find that the coffee dyed papers, I don't iron them. Some people do. But once you've added the glue, it pretty much flattens out any wrinkles. Not 100% maybe, but it dampens it down just enough that you can smooth it out. Put more music up here. That's where that goes. That's why it didn't get put down a minute ago, because it belongs up there. It was waiting its turn. So I'm just going to go right over top of the hole from the tag. And then when I trim this up, I will punch that out, but I can't do it when it's wet. to wait until that's dry. And then this will punch out three holes, and then I'll clean it up with the X-Acto knife to make that shape again. I don't have a punch that shape, so I have to kind of do it that way. Do have a bit of that napkin on there. I don't think I have any more of that, but I could use some pink up in this corner. So I'll do that. Maybe here, but then maybe in the middle. And coffee dyed here. Or this page edge of the music paper could go there. Let's take that square edge off. And overlap that there. That's a nice long stretch covered in one piece. And a piece that was probably going to go in the bucket to be made into mush is now saved and used. Unfortunately, I'm going to lose some of the beauty of it by hanging it over the edge, because that'll get trimmed off. Because I just love that dark edge. But that's all right. Now does this cover? Not quite. Cover this way. If I do maybe some more book page up here. Maybe book page first and then the pink. And then what color should be underneath that pink? Try to use up the pieces I've already got torn. This can go here. Can go here, and then that pink can cover the rest. I'm actually getting some of that edge from the funky scissors, and I got this going 2 directions, which kind of adds interest. And then this pink can go right here. So that's a tag collaged. And then I will wait till it's dry, and then I'll trim it. And then once it's trimmed, then I'll put the coffee dyed paper on the back. And I have special papers set aside for that, ones that had a bit of writing on the back, but I coffee dyed them anyway. At first I wasn't using them if they were printed on, but then I realized it doesn't show through once it's coffee dyed, and then I can use that to back tags and use the ones that are good on both sides for pages in journals. So 2 different categories of coffee dyed, or more than 2, but at least 2. So there's 2 more bases with a little bit of color, which I've been trying to add some color into my collages instead of just having it all beige. So when I had this left over, it was perfect time to start that. So maybe check back with me once I have these done. I'll show them to you again, and either let you watch me do it, or just show you the finished product at some point. So I hope you enjoyed this little crafting session. It's Sunday morning. I'm just kind of playing. So like, comment, share, subscribe, and most of all, have a great day.